this budget day, it's about what the middle class gets. It's about what the people get. It's, you know, if you have growth that does not inspire people, then it will be seen to be, you know, in economists' dream and the middle class's nightmare. And I kept saying it yesterday, and I think I would also say this as a political journalist, that the BJP should understand that it has to balance not just the expectations of Bihar and Andhra Pradesh, but also the expectations of the middle class. And this time I saw, in fact, that the middle class was getting, the Aam Aadmi was getting the support of the corporates who were going ahead. And even I'm told in the pre-budget discussions with the Prime Minister and Finance Minister said that beyond the welfare schemes, I think some tax breaks for the salaried middle class are very necessary. Now, will the common man get that relief in income tax? You know, I think I would look at whether there's a relief for the lowest tax bracket, whether there would be some breaks for the 10 to 30 lakh rupee category, whether they would improve the new tax regime, whether they would raise the standard ATC deduction up. You know, that's the kind of stuff that I would like to look at. I mean, we are not just a stock market focused channel, and I know there are enough channels in this country who only begin and end with the stock markets on days like this. That's not how I look at it. I would also not just like to look at it in terms of how your continuous high economic growth has been there, what your growth rate has been there, what your net tax growth is there, what is your tax collection efficiency is there. If you have had all of that, then what do the people get?
Yeah.
If your revenue receipts have gone up and your GST collections have galloped and your direct tax collections have galloped, and if you are really the shining star as far as global economic growth is concerned, if you are the outlier in all of this, and if you maintain the fiscal deficit to 5.6%,
yeah,
you know, then I think you ought to give a little.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to have a fiscal, I think there was a projection of 4.5%. My first question would be, 4.5% is very good, but at the expense of what? If you're going to maintain a great fiscal deficit figure, I know it's great, it's fantastic, it is right in line for Viksit Bharat. But as a political journalist, I would say that I think it is time the government realizes it needs the support of the people. And any government that does not have the support of the people will not be able to have a continuous growth in its economic policy, because if the numbers stagflate, if the BJP's numbers were to be, for example, at 230 or 220, then it wouldn't be in a position to be presenting a budget.
Yeah.
So I think there's got to be a sense of realism. I'm a great votary for the middle class in this budget. They pay the most of the income tax, they bear the most of the tax burden, they bear approximately 20% of the income tax liabilities, and I have not seen that kind of support to the middle class. And is that one of the reasons why the middle class support in the elections also went down? I kept emphasizing in my program yesterday that the middle class support to the NDA went down by 3 percentage points. And we saw that there was a net loss of seats from 303 to 240. Sorry to bring the politics in, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
It's a reality. You know, I'm constantly wondering, Abhishek here, constantly thinking here that is anyone listening? And if the BJP listens now, I think it'll be good for the BJP.
It would be at their peril.
BJP would want to remain in power for a long period of time. And the only way to do it is if you take the middle class along. What do you think, Rajiv? I mean, just some of my initial thoughts. What do you think? Yeah? Have I gone a bit extreme?
It's very interesting, Arnab, to hear what you said. And in fact, I was discussing it with somebody.
Yes, I can.
It seems that there is very little linkage between votes and development that happens in the country. Somehow, they seem to be too disjointed from each other. So on the politics front, I think there is still a lot of caste-based politics which happens.
Yes.
And I think that has got nothing to do with the development. Because if you go back to UP and you see that how we lost a lot of seats, NDA lost there. I don't think it can be out of lack of development.
No.
I mean, there is no way that it was happening because of that.
No.
Similarly, I mean, though I agree that, you know, the middle class should get certain benefits. And I think it's time that it will get it now, because as I said, just a few minutes back that initial
I hope so.
last few years was consolidation from the COVID.
Okay. Let's get all the other guests also in. We have Suhail there. Good morning, Suhail. We have Ajay Bagga there. Good morning, Ajay. They've Kishore Subramaniam. Good to see some nice friends. Give a little, smile a little, Suhail. Smile a little. Yeah.
To smile.
Huh?
Nothing. This is all nonsensical. This so-called development is utter rubbish. The middle class has been screwed over multiple times by various governments. Let me give you an example of Goa. Where you live, wherever you live in Goa, there is no power, there are no roads, but we are building a smart city. Smart in whose head? Pramod Sawant's head. Look at Delhi, look at Gurgaon. Whose head are you building smart cities? In the chief minister's heads. It is utter rubbish. Who gets messed over? The middle class. You know, this gentleman, Rajiv Gupta, talked about we. I don't know if he represents the BJP or is part of the Financial Advisory Council to the Prime Minister. If he is, he should take a message back that the arrogance of the BJP in its fiscal planning is beginning to bite. And we are all supporters of India. I'm not a supporter of the BJP or the Congress or any of those other parties. But it is beginning to bite. If they don't realize this, then they're living in a fool's paradise. A. B. It is not about middle class asking for sops. No one is asking for any sop. People are asking for their goddamn rights. You pay taxes, you want roads that you can drive or walk on. You pay taxes, you want electricity. You pay taxes, you want water. It's no one's bloody favor. No government is doing anyone any favors. Neither is Nirmala Sitharaman, nor is Pramod Sawant, nor is Naib Singh Saini, nor is anyone. These people have stopped worrying about the middle class because they're worrying about votes. But when the middle class anger translates into the deprivation of votes, then they will start worrying. And let me tell you, Arnab, it is not my contention that Rahul Gandhi will be better than Modi or someone else will be better than someone else. No. My feeling is very simple. The government that we expected would deliver for the middle class and would actually deliver in real terms. See, it was a grand economic survey. But even I can work the figures if I want. The reality is, what are we seeing on the ground? You know, Nitin Gadkari rightfully talks about massive highways, massive highways. What do you do with urban planning? What are you doing? Have you not noticed during summer what happens at all the hill stations of India? What is happening with climate change?
Yeah,
what
but you can't solve everything in a budget.
It can't. But the budget is a fiscal vision document. Only in India do we all get excited and have to wake up early for Arnab Goswami to discuss the budget.
Early? I'm halfway through the day. So we are not like you, early to bed.
I get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So
I didn't party till 2 o'clock in the morning. Now I want to get Ajay.
So I'm saying
I want to get Ajay Bagga on it. See, behind Ajay Bagga's very sort of, I would say, gentlemanly, suited, booted approach to life. There's an angry young man in Ajay Bagga also, Suhail. The point is, what we are saying is this, Ajay. And you are the purveyor of the stock markets and the capital markets, you, Kishore, all very eminent people. What people are saying today, and this would not be the conversation on a CNBC, but it would be a conversation on a Republic. What people are saying is, see, stock markets are doing so well. Whenever we speak to anyone in the stock, oh, we're having a great time. Oh, the lookout is great. We're all going to make a lot of money. Capital expenditure is at an all-time high. You know, roads are getting built. You go from Delhi, Gurgaon towards Vadodara. You have a 16-lane highway. Your fiscal deficit is beautiful. It can't be better than this. It cannot be better than this, right? Your balance of payments is great. Repatriation investment is great. Everything is so great.
There is a current account surplus.
Huh?
There is a current account surplus.
There's a current account surplus. If everything is so great, then what do the people get, Ajay?
No, I think I will channelize Suhail only. And Arnab, congratulations. You hit it on the nail totally. No business channel will talk about this. The middle class angst, the poor people's angst. And I think you hit it on the nail. And I totally endorse what Suhail said. That is the problem. And if not this time, then when? Take 3 pointers, Arnab. 1.7 lakh crores didn't get spent last year's budget. It was carried in the treasury account. She is sitting on that money. In the first 3 months, the government could spend on infrastructure minus 14% year on year, because everybody was in election mode and then shocked by the election mode. You have to grow at 35% in the next 9 months to make up that infra budget. It's enough. 11 lakh crores also you can't digest. You don't have the capacity at the state and district levels to digest. That is enough. Now let's get back to consumption. 60% of the GDP runs on personal consumption, which has been growing at 4.5%. 66% of India is sitting in rural India, which is growing at 4% over the last 5 years.
True.
We have that 9% in urban India. So those are the pointers that are showing you why do you need 80 crore people getting food aid if 64 crore Indians are actually employed. Why do you need to give them 5 kgs of rice and wheat every month? I think those are the pointers. The middle class today is pauperized because you have not given any tax break since 2014. And what you were earning, 1 lakh rupees of 2014 is equal to 51,000 rupees today in purchasing power terms. But madam comes in and, the bureaucrats, unfortunately, who are running the show, they will say, no, it's fine. Let them eat cake. That is the reality. The purchasing power of people is going down. There is the 10% India, which is on par with Europe. So you have a huge consumption class in India, but it is very narrow. And at the bulge of the cylinder, it's not even a pyramid. There's a very small topi at the top. Rest is a cylinder of suffering India, Arnab.
Yeah,
and
but,
I thank you for bringing this up.
No, I'm happy that you brought it up, and I'm happy you've taken on what Sohail said. I want Kishore to come in on this, and I also want Sandeep Tandon. Sandeep is the founder and CI of Quant Mutual Funds. From the perspective of people who work with you, what are you looking at in the context of the discussion we are having first, Sandeep, this morning?
I think I agree what Ajay talked about. Okay, so we have to look at post-COVID. There has been a ruler stress. Okay, and it has been played out globally, given the supply side inflation which we have seen globally. It has hurt a lot of people. So I think government has to do a lot many things on the increasing on the disposable income. So I do expect personally that the government should focusing on increasing the disposable income, and that will flip the economy. Ultimately, the consumption has to move up in the last many years is all about capex and capex. I think we have to come back to up to certain extent towards the consumption side also, and I think that will cheer up the mood of the middle class as well as the masses who are suffering.
But this has become a dominant theme. If you're seeing this, Abhishek, Sharmila, this time, I have seen the pre-budget discussions that are going on. I've never seen as much focus on the middle class, and I think this is coming from people. Ajay makes a very good point, Sharmila. He says that you actually have spent less. You have spent less than you could have. Yeah. And I was looking at the numbers, Kishore. The total expenditure for FY24 is 60,000 crores as compared to what their budgeted estimates were. Basic, simple English, ladies and gentlemen. You had the money, you spent less, which means you have the money. You can say we've had very efficient expenditure management, excellent management of our P&L, lower cost of borrowing, and all this leads to this downward revision that we see of the budgeted expenditure on interest payments. So all of these numbers are sounding very good. I'm not an economist, but basically, Kishore, this is great. You have a lower cost of subsidy also. Your expenditure on major subsidies declines by 22% on a year-on-year basis because you're giving the people the fertilizer. These are pictures from Nirmala Sitharaman's house. You're giving people fertilizer, you're giving people food subsidies, but your expenditure on the subsidies have declined by 24 and 22%. I'm talking only about fertilizer and food subsidies. Point being this, at the end of the day, you're helping the poor, very good. You're helping those in the stock market, fantastic. Stock market's booming, great. Even the loss-making companies are making money. Environment's good, Sharmila?
Yes, environment's
good
absolutely.
To give a little.
But look at this, Arnab. 48% decline in household savings. And what are we talking about? This is a huge number. If people are not saving in this country, because India is primarily a savings-based economy, but if households are eroding their savings, then what are we talking about? Because we have been resilient through the pandemic.
But people have to have surplus income for that.
Exactly.
Do they have that? Because there are inflationary pressures also. Though they are saying retail inflation has gone down a bit, but there are inflationary pressures.
But Ajay Bagga would be happy because probably more people are investing more, people are creating more wealth. Ajay, what do you have to say about that?
People would be creating more. Ajay is not happy because Ajay is on the side of the... There's nobody tonight on this program, Kishore, who's not on the side of the middle class, you know. And the middle class is asking these questions quite vocally for the first time. Kishore.
Yeah. Arnab, let me tell you, for the middle class, the month end begins on the 15th. An employee who earns 35,000 to 40,000 in my organization is having 5 credit cards. He's not having 5 credit cards to go to Bangkok or Thailand, but he's having because he's not able to make up his domestic expenses. You need to understand that from the stock market, this time we have to move to the sabji market. That is the problem. We have to understand that the common man is suffering. And if this time you keep on increasing the capex from 5 lakh crore to 9 lakh crore to 11 lakh crore and don't give sops, or I wouldn't say even the word sop, you don't give relief to the middle class, the consumption is not going to kick off. Your 240 will go down by another 20%. And it is not politics. It is genuine thing. Please remember, in India, pension is taxed. FDs for senior citizens is taxed. Senior citizen waiver and trains have been taken off. So you can't be continuously taxing only the middle class. The Aam Aadmi is a sandwich. His always has been in the... See, when I was a young guy and I had an aspiration to buy a house and I had 5 lakhs with me, the cost of the house was 20. Today I may have 50 lakhs, but the cost of the house is 2 crores. This gap is continuous. You may have bought out a lot of people from multidimensional poverty and your fiscal deficit may look fantastic. You have unspent money. Please understand that gross domestic savings is going down continuously because the expense is going up. From the 15th to 20th of a month, the middle class starts its month end. That is bad news for politics, for economics, for savings and day-to-day life.
Okay, counter view to that. Government would say, come on, I mean, these are the same people who are buying homes. You have record sales in real estate. Ajay.
No, that is there, Arnab. Record sales in, and again, as I said, if you cut India, 1% is French in terms of the per capita income. 10% is European, then 20% is Indonesian, and 70% of India is sub-Saharan Africa. The problem is that 70% has to be brought up at least to an Indonesian level. That is where we are struggling. You're not, we say we are generating jobs. 80% of jobs are less than 20,000 rupees a month. What will people eat in that? One number I want to give, Arnab. One number, if you will allow me. 2% of India is paying the entire personal income tax. Your personal income tax is more than the corporate tax.
A lot of
you
people
have cut the corporate tax to 15%.
A lot of people cheering for all of us tonight, Ajay, because you know I can see that I'm told we are the highest watched on live streaming this morning. So Sohail getting up in the morning has been worth it. He raised his hand once more.
I get up at 4 a.m.
It is Sohail. It is Sohail.
Kishore Subramaniam and Ajay Bagga said people are buying houses. You're asking why are people buying houses? What should we do? Become turtles? Curl up and die? Have no aspiration? Because Narendra Modi wants to send $25 million or $250 million to Palestine or to Israel or wherever? The Indians should just curl up and die? Should we not have aspiration? What kind of nonsense is this? And you're right, Arnab, this is not being discussed on any financial channel. Because
that's where we lose
they will use. They will say, pro-poor, pro-farmer, visionary budget. These 3 terms have been used to describe every budget since 1991.
I feel that the growth engine of the country is still the middle.
And I don't give a damn about the government's deficit.
You need to give a damn about that. I mean, let's not be unrealistic. I mean, to give credit to the government, which you're not.
I give no credit.
Maintaining fiscal deficit is a very important task.
For running this program.
Maintaining fiscal deficit. These things also matter. You know, we have to have the right numbers, but right numbers for the people as well. Well, a lot of action outside the finance ministry. I'm told Suesha is there, and there have been lots of people coming in and out. Suesha Sawant, live from North Block. Suesha, can you take us through what we may expect? in the, the customary pre-budget run-up over the next, say, half an hour or so?
I think it should be lesser than that, Arnab, because with the kind of movement I see at the North Block, right outside the Finance Ministry, I do feel that it will happen in a few minutes. In fact, all the cameras are mounted to get that very iconic picture that happens every year, where Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be carrying that tablet in the Bahi Khata pouch that she will flash for all the cameras. And yes, the big question on whether she will meet expectations, lots, that is really being looked at for the Aadmi, for the middle class, for what India Inc. And the demands they have placed. Let me quickly give you a 360-degree view as the security is now being heightened, and we have already seen one carcade, one set of cars that have already arrived at the Finance Ministry, where MOS Finance has made his way inside. The message that he gives this morning, that this budget will be Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So that is the note that we start on ahead of listening to the big budget announcement at 11 a.m. It is time for us to slip into a very short commercial break, but we'll continue to get you all the live action from the Finance Ministry. In a few minutes from now, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will arrive here, and flashing for all the cameras, the Bahi Khata pouch, which will have that tablet that came actually into force from 2021, and she will be reading the union budget from that at 11 a.m. in the Parliament. Stay tuned.